welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Bobby, this is blue-white Phyrexian Dreadnought. Dreadnought lists over the last few months have been moving a lot. It's kind of weird in the present era of Legacy to say that there is a stock list of Dreadnought, because it's been pretty fringe for probably 10 plus years at this point. But there was a period where blue-white Dreadnought had a pretty stock list you could rely on. But over the past half a year, we got Consigned to Memory printed, which is a powerful card that every blue deck's playing that Dreadnought can leverage in the main deck. We got Abhorrent Oculus printed. We got Curie from Fallout. And there is enough reason to be blue-black instead of blue-white. We just don't need Doorkeeper Thrall anymore. And then there's Esper builds that have a little bit of everything, including the white removal. But Bobby is taking it all the way back to basics here and is planning for a world where Psychic Frog is banned. Psychic Frog is one of the reasons to be blue-black in your Dreadnought deck. It just gives you that powerful backup plan. But Bobby's got eyes for the future. I think everyone expects Psychic Frog to not make it into the new year. The next ban list update is mid-December. And we've got a classic take on blue-white Dreadnought here. Doorkeeper Thrall. Artifacts and creatures entering don't cause abilities to trigger. That turns on your Dreadnought, turns off Thassa's Oracle, turns off some of the other stuff in the format. Null Drifter is another powerful thing to cheat in. It's just a divination if you need that, and then if you happen to have a way to keep it around. An early Annihilator creature is really messed up, even if it's just Annihilator 1. That is crushing inevitability, and every turn they don't answer it, things get worse for them. We get the white removal in Swords to Plowshares. We get Stifle, Wasteland, Daze, just balls to the wall tempo deck here. I have played this deck on the channel before. You could go check out those if you want to see more of this, but I'm into it. Let's get in. This is Azorius Dreadnought. This video is partnered with Gold Sabertooth's Commander Pantheon collection. This Kickstarter project features exclusive art on playmatch shirts and stickers from a staple of the Magic and CEDH community. Printed on premium quality materials, these products are built to last so you can rep your favorite commander for years to come. Backing this Kickstarter gives you access to limited edition products and helps reach stretch goals for even more cool designs. Support this community artist by using the link in the video description or searching Gold Sabertooth on Kickstarter.com. I'm on the draw in round 1, and I cannot keep this hand that has no colored sources of mana. I can keep this hand that has both my colors and a Dreadnought and a way to get Dreadnought into play. I have to decide if I want to bottom Swords to Plowshares and hope they're not a creature deck, or bottom Tamiyo and hope the Dreadnought works. Or I could bottom Ponder and let these cards do the work. I think that's actually the plan. I'm going to bottom Ponder. Don't tell anyone this happened. Island Ponder, bottom the Ponder off a mulligan. Got a Verdant Catacombs over there. Could be Reanimator, or could be someone doing something more interesting. Okay, looks like we got some depths. Glad I didn't bottom the Plow. This could be 12 post also. There's a couple decks that might lead on a Reclaimer. Unfortunately, Basic Plains is kind of bad with my sequencing over the next few turns, but I guess I'm just going to cast Dress Down next turn. No, it's fine. I'm in. That cost me my Tamiyo development, but it's worth it. Okay, we are Cradle Control. Fun. Doorkeeper Thrall might be a huge upgrade over Dress Down, because this is a deck built on creatures. A lot of the abilities are activated, but there are some triggers that matter. Collector Roof. Oh no. I can't activate my Dreadnought. Okay, this thing has Vig. It can attack. I can sack Collector Roof to search your deck for a land. That's pretty powerful. I'm going to get a basic island and play Doorkeeper Thrall. I was about to say I'd love to draw a land here, and I did. This means that even if they kill Doorkeeper Thrall in response to my Dreadnought, I can still Dress Down and keep it. There's a Dryad Arbor. Chucking the Dryad Arbor. Oh, they're going to try to phase out my Doorkeeper Thrall. That's fun. They're going to get the gates. Yeah, the Talon Gates. Cool. Glad I drew the land. I didn't solve that line until it was already happening. Okay, Dress Down. My abilityless creature phases out. I drew another Plow. This was a really good turn. Let's see what they can do to me here. Tragic Dreadnought cannot be activated. Okay, I'll just attack with it, if you insist. The Thrall is gone until my upkeep, though. If they can, like, Cradle, drop some creatures, natural art out a Crater Hoof, or if they have Nadu in their deck, like, I don't know. Something could happen. 1-drop into Cradle was the start of the sequence that I didn't want to see. They could shove an Atrax into play here. Zenith for 3. That's going to be Grist. Okay. Yep. And the Safekeeper means I can't plow my way out of this with white. Or can't plow the white and stabilize. I should be able to kill Grist, though, because I have a flyer. We're pivoting onto Tamiyo Beats. New plan. Shame I don't have any of my Stifles, because Grist is an activated ability that creates a triggered ability, and all of your Stifles and Consigns work there. That's right. I had a really good turn last turn. Let's see if I can keep it going. I'm going to attack Grist. Let's get that out of the way. It looks like they got another trick here, but Safekeeper is gone, which means Plow's online. They might have a second Talon Gates. Okay. That is what's going on here. Tamiyo. Rainstorm. On a land, another Tamiyo, and a Ponder. I'm going to put back the 2 Ponders because I'm not going to cast them this turn. Plus Tamiyo, Island, plow this Donkey, get the creature mode Tamiyo in, and they have 1 card and an active Grist versus my Planeswalker, fresh Tamiyo. This game could go any direction here. This turned out to be pretty sweet. But you could pog. All right, Tamiyo just got worse. It's fine. They got 1 mystery card still in the hand. Grist milled a Green Sun Zenith. I'm going to attack Grist first before I do anything else. Attack Grist with both creatures, including the Tamiyo. Doesn't matter where that goes. I still get paid. Wow, is there 1 card in their hand Endurance? That's so annoying. Jesus. All right. Well, there's that card now. I could have pondered before attacks, and maybe I find the 3rd Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. We are now officially behind. Tamiyo does flip on the 3rd card, whether you like it or not. I'm going to cast Ponder. I know there's a Ponder under it. This is my 2nd card of the turn. Okay, another Thrall. I don't shuffle that. Plus this Tamiyo. And pass the turn. Endurance is just treading water with Tamiyo. I'm really okay with this. If she +2s every turn and then gets attacked for 2 every turn, it's not a big deal. They keep drawing spells, though. Good ones. That sucks. Yeah, one of the, I guess you could call it issues. One of the things about this deck are, it doesn't play from behind very well. Okay, they're going after Planeswalker Tamiyo. Cool. And they spent the Grist to do that. I like that. I'm going to draw a card. Yeah, I do kind of really need either a Dreadnought, there it is. I was about to say, a Dreadnought or a 3rd removal spell here. But Dreadnought is forthcoming. It's weird to attack Tamiyo if you're going to minus Grist on it, because this is a clue that they didn't need to give me. Bang, we're back. Facing down to 6/6 white. I wonder how many Talon Gates they could possibly play. Ignoble Hierarch. They finally got a bad draw. It does represent any land in their deck, but what tech lands are left? Is there a Maze of Ith in here? I don't even know. Okay, I can attack with Dreadnought and Tamiyo here. Here these ones come. I don't want to lose this Thrall. Yeah, I'm just going to draw 2 cards off these clues after they block with Endurance. That'll flip Tamiyo mid-combat. A Stifle, that's good. Good against their deck in general. A plus Tamiyo and pass. They're at 12. Okay, is there a land that's going to mess me up here? What do they get? I wish I knew more about this deck right now in its current construction. I'm going to let this happen. I can stifle other things later. Lair of the Hydra. That's an activation I can stifle. I guess it would be better just not in play, though. Oh, lots of mana in the pool. Is this a giant Zenith, or is it just Crater Hoof from hand? Hell yeah. Doorkeeper Thrall. Still a 5/5. And they have to attack judiciously here, because Dreadnought is still around. And white has Vigilance, so I guess they need to think about very little. Okay, if I block white, I take 6. These are all going face. I do have to block, though. And I can flash in the other Doorkeeper Thrall in the end step. I need to get this white out of the way. And they have to block with it. At least that's going for me. I can just attack with Dreadnought, get it done in 2 turns. I'm going to attack with Dreadnought, force the block. Just trampled over for 5. Brainstorm, dig for some action. Did find another Plow and Wasteland. I don't think I'm going to have... Maybe it's Stifle. Yeah, I put back Daze, Stifle, hold up Wasteland so I don't have to think about the lair. That was really good. Weaseling my way out of this 1 step at a time. I'm currently stable and winning on the back swing. They need another good draw here. Oh no, mana's being spent. They ripped a Zenith. That's dangerous. Okay, we're still playing. This has been a really good game. Awesome back and forth all around. Keen-Eyed Curator. That can be a 7/7 trample. Alright, they're just eating stuff out of my graveyard now. I can plow twice this turn cycle. Like, plow hoof during combat, untap, pick up plow. Oh no, I would have to plow Curator first, or else it just eats the plow. Unless they just randomly tap out and eat everything. Now. They have creature, instant, sorcery under there. There are lands they can eat. Grist is a creature and a planeswalker in all zones. Okay, this is an attack for 6. That is exactly my life total. If I plow the Keen-Eyed Curator, they have to tap out. They go to 14. I can chump block the hoof, and then pick up plow, clear hoof. I could put them to 2. I could also just plow hoof and bash into the Curator. That kills 2 things and leaves me with Tamiyo ready to draw half my deck next turn. Yeah, 7 plus 4 is 11, so they do still have to block the Dreadnought next turn, and I get to keep my Thrall. Yeah, I'll just plow a hoof. No blocks here, I go to 4. But if they eat Swords to Plowshares, then they don't get to make a 7/7. Oh, Stifle. Do I just win? This is 13 damage. They can block 3 of it. Don't just win. Okay. Tough crowd. I can keep my plow in the graveyard, though, if I value that over whatever else might be happening. They have to block. I'm passing priority here. Are they going to absorb the extra 4 or take the plow out of the mix? They're going after the plow. I think that's fine. I'm just going to plus Tamiyo, hold up Stifle plus Wasteland, try to draw half my deck. They can attack me to 2 here. They got to find 2 more damage through Stifle, Wasteland, and Doorkeeper Thrall. Moment of truth. Mana being tapped. What do we got? If they drew Natural Order, Atraxa doesn't trigger. That doesn't matter. And it buys a lot of time. Like the lifelink does cancel out a full Dreadnought swing. Oh, that's weird. They left a green floating and they're just passing priority. What's going on over there? They tapped a bunch of lands, untapped a bunch of lands, left a green floating for nothing. Alright, they're changing plans, going after Tamiyo now. That's fine. Drawing half my deck is not important if my opponent has 0 or less life points. Now we'll see what they actually have. Looks like it is a Natural Order. Okay. We're back in. Is there a shatter monster they can get, like the werewolf? Or do they just get Atraxa as a large life-linking body? It's still a forced block, but it answers the Dreadnought for real. Okay, they just didn't have something that would stabilize. Okay, that was a really good game. Wrath of the Skies comes in. Containment Priest, Prismatic Ending come in. I can see Harbinger being good too. They are a deck with a lands toolbox. I can see Counterbalance, but also I can see it being mediocre. They don't really draw cards. Their card advantage comes from other sources. Day's pretty bad on the draw. Might be pretty bad in the matchup on the play too. They have a lot of mana dorks. They are a deck with triggered and activated abilities in them. I think Stifle is better than Consign if I'm going to cut one of these things, and I like the Dress Down and the Doorkeeper Thrall. Just unilaterally, I like all of those. I might be cutting another Consign here. Giving my threats and my card flow, bring in a bunch of Wraths and additional removal and Hate Bears. Hate Grey Ogres, in this case. The Counterbalance is a little tempting, but I feel like it's too slow, and Greensun Zenith can manipulate past it and stuff. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that. Here we go. Another hand with no colored mana. Do the normal BoshNRoll video check of how many sources. Is this a deck issue or is this a just you mulligan sometimes issue? There are 15 sources of colored mana. That's 1 in 4 cards of the deck. Opening hand should have a colored source, so that's fine. We're within responsible range. I like this. I wish it had a second white. I think I'm going to get rid of Wasteland. Their deck is somehow both extremely resilient to Wasteland and also is a deck full of land synergies. I don't know how they do both so successfully, but it's true. Noble Hierarch. Okay. Didn't find a white source, did find another plow. I'm just going to get Tundra and zap this Noble Hierarch right now. If I had drawn a white source, I might have tried to manipulate the game into a Wrath of the Skies that took that Hierarch with it. But the second plow and this lets me present Dreadnought next turn. Ooh, their land is Cradle. Oh, hey, caramba, what do I do with this information? That is the second white source I was looking for. If they play a 3-drop next turn, it won't matter. I could just shove Dreadnought here and see what they have to say about it. I'm going to do that. Let's create some pressure. Okay, here we go. Deal with my 12/12. Grist is like one of the best things they could do. They probably have a Boseiju in their deck somewhere. I don't expect this thing to go coast to coast, but it is cool that I have it. White of the Reliquary. If they're just playing whites and some random dinguses, we might actually go coast to coast here. Reclaimer, white. 1 mana still floating. Okay. Here come that boy. That's really good. I'm going to attack before I show them anything that my hand does. Dreadnought getting in. And they did miss a land drop here. I'm going to Wasteland Gaia's Cradle. And both of these things can produce the land that phases out my Dreadnought. And I can't really take them off it. I could plow the Hierarch, which means white has to sacrifice Reclaimer to do that. Yeah, I'm just going to attack their mana like crazy here. If they had one of these, I would go after the payoff creature. But they have 2, and I can't take them off either way. Or backup Cradle. That's a reason they would hold back and not have another land, is they just had redundant copies of a legendary land. Drawing Stifle here is probably really good. It's not game over, but it is really good. Containment Priest, interesting. Okay, I'm attacking. They're going to have to phase this out or deal with it somehow. I'm 1 mana short of, if they phase it out, then wrathing their board while my thing is hiding. That would be so sick. Talon Gates. I think I still wrath here. I get to take the Reclaimer, but they can flip Reclaimer into a land at instant speed, so I'm not actually killing anything. Okay, I'll pass with Containment Priest up, and I can fetch Meticulous Archive this turn. We know they play 2 Talon Gates. That's a second way to phase out Dreadnought. Oh no, they play Dryad Arbor. Containment Priest locks Dryad Arbor out. There's no way in Magic to get a Dryad Arbor into play with an active Containment Priest. Sad. But, you know, them drawing Dryad Arbor this turn versus them setting up a Green Sun Zenith, I think I made mostly the right choice. Meticulous Archive. Stifle. Does that win the game? They did attack with their Reclaimer, so maybe. And they didn't phase out before my draw step. Okay, I'm attacking. Okay, they're putting Talon Gates into play from their hand. I'll just stifle that ability. I could stifle that ability, or I could stifle the Enters, but this one stops land from coming into play. And we got the GGs. All right, cool. Got over the finish line. When I cast this, I said, I don't think this is going to go coast to coast, but then it did. And that's the power of Dreadnought decks. Sometimes you just hit for 12 a few times. On to the next round. You ever need some cheap little odds and ends for your deck, but shipping costs more than the entire order? Card Trader solves that problem with their innovative Card Trader Zero system. They act as your personal P.O. box, collecting orders from sellers all over the world to send you one easy package. I ordered from 4 sellers in 3 different countries. Card Trader gathered the cards for me, keeping me updated throughout the process, then sent one affordable package to my house. Make the whole world your TCG marketplace with cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep this Tameo hand.
Tameo Days action. No sign of a Dreadnought, but we got a lot of stuff to do here. I get to see a lot of cards. I get a quick Planeswalker. And if I draw half my deck, there will be a Dreadnought in there, most likely. Opponent went to 5. That's not a lot of cards. Let's hope this Days hard carries. Tameo's in. Blue to Delta. And Reanimator is such a dick of a deck. Dick, deck, duck. Attacking with Tameo. I'm going to Brainstorm here. And Dress Down might do something, but I feel like flipping Tameo will do more. And I found a Force of Will. Good stuff. I'm going to put back Plains and Doorkeeper Throw in that order. I just want all my blue cards and my 1 mana interaction to survive this turn cycle. And then I can start hitting land drops and figuring out what this game's actually about. There's a good chance I'm going to Daze this turn cycle as well, which is why I put the land 2 down. I don't need that if I'm going to pick up a land anyway. Okay. This was not an Entomb, just a Surveil. And they kept the card. B-Storm. I don't think I'm fighting over a Brainstorm this early. Scalding Tarn. Now I can decide if I actually want the cards on top of my deck. And Doorkeeper Thrall is part of the plan, but Dreadnought's more important. I will keep this Tundra. Didn't end up needing to pick up a land, so I do need a land drop. And I'm just going to pass here. I could draw a card with my Clue token. I'm on kind of Protect the Queen, 2 turns away from ultimating Tameo. Basic Island in the end step. Are we going to see a Troll? Nope. Okay. What's going on over there? Another Brainstorm. They've certainly moved a lot of cards around since their initial mull to 5. And a Ponder. We'll see if we get the shuffle here. They did shuffle. A Ponder right after a Brainstorm like that frequently ends up shuffling. I will conclude my investigation here. Cash in the Clue. 7 cards in hand. Plus Tameo. I have so many Ponders, I'm going to cast one. Just another Force here is insane. I'll take a Wasteland also. That makes this Daze more relevant. And I'm going to hit the Sewer. I don't want them picking that up and replaying it. Okay, so I have Force blue card, Daze, and then the option of 2 Plows or 1 Dress Down to protect Tameo this turn cycle. And then my deck's in my hand. Street Wraith cycled. Was this Doomsday the whole time and it's not Reanimator? Or is it one of the aggressive Metamorphosis Fanatic builds that use Street Wraith to flip it? Okay, cool. Just protect the Queen, Tameo. Off you go. And I didn't show them anything that indicates that I'm a Dreadnought deck. That is all top secret, which also means that my Stifles and Consigns are top secret if they are Doomsday. There are some cards that I would like either way. Like, I think Surgical is fine, whether they're Reanimator or Doomsday. Counterbalance the same. Lavinia, she plays either way, but Force of Negation's a little worse if they're not Doomsday, and Hull Breacher's really bad if they're Reanimator. And then I have to think about Swords to Plowshares, a card I do not want if they're Doomsday, but is going to be really important if they are Frog Reanimator. We both did a pretty good job hiding what we were doing that game. The Street Wraith builds of Reanimator are pretty unusual. That's pretty off meta. Though, hold up. The best builds of Doomsday right now are playing Frog and Tameo. So maybe Plow has to be in no matter what they're doing. I could back off 1 Dreadnought. I think that's okay, because I still have other ways to win the game, and I'm bringing in a threat. And I don't want to be Dreadnought flooded when the early part of the game is about staying alive. Okay, I'm going to do this kind of a medium, because I'm not sure what they're doing. I like this hand. A lot of interaction, sees a lot of cards. What are you doing? What is your deck? Might be able to get their face off with this Stifle, though. Like I said, we didn't do anything to show we're a Dreadnought deck last game. Suddenly, there's a fetch land sitting in play versus a Stifle deck. And I am going to Stifle this, but they did play out Underground Sea first. If they have Daze, they can make a fight out of this. But if they don't make a fight out of this, Wasteland is going to wreck their life. Okay, they do have the Daze. Not going to fight any further, mostly because I can't. And they will end up with 2 mana this turn, but that did set them back a mana temporarily, and if they fetch a non-basic, Wasteland's going to keep them under the boot for a while. Underground Sea, Psychic Frog. Uh-oh. Well, I am not close to having an answer to that. And wasting into it seems like a mistake. Oh no. Oh no, it's all falling apart. I was talking a lot of trash a minute ago. Now I'm in trouble. I will take a Flooded Strand because I have to find white if I'm going to play this game. And Psychic Frog's going to town here. Homie, I couldn't beat the first one. Chill out. Okay, I'm going to get the Mystical Archive. Meticulous Archive. Third land. I could present a Null Drifter next turn, but this does not look like the way to actually win this game. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, Null Drifter just doesn't even beat the onboard frogs. It just doesn't matter. And these are the games why this card needs to be banned. You're just caught without an answer once, and then you can never catch up. Lotus Petal. Getting more information is good, though. If they do suddenly pivot into a Doomsday, especially if they pivot into Doomsday when I have Consigned in Memory in my hand, these Lotus Petals are big information. They may just not make that move ever, because they don't have to. Yeah, I'm just going to let them beat me to death with these frogs, and hope that they commit to a Doomsday that they can't actually win. They have to mess up here. I can't actually win this game. And I also have Value Surgical. If there's any doubt what they're doing, before I concede, I could just Surgical them. And that both shows them Surgical Extraction, and I get to see their whole list. And they can't concede in response, because then the match is over. Yeah, Tamiyo going nuts here. I'm not going to spend Consign on that. Like I said, the job of Consign is to hope that they run a Thassa's Oracle into it, and nothing else. A Brainstorm. Give me a chance here. Dreadnought is here, and still not useful. I'm going to put back Null Drifter and Dreadnought. Fetching in the end step. Sewer. Kept the card on top. Yeah, this is a slaughter. They are a Doomsday deck. It's just not going to matter. Oh, unless it does. Unless it does, please cast Doomsday. Resolves, bummer, man. Wish I could have done anything about that. They do just have 9 damage on board if they want to send it. Actually 10, if they want to pick up Doomsday just to discard it with Tamiyo. Their hand is probably just 100 counterspells. Or they could set it up so this is backup. Like, they could attack me for 7 this turn and then attack me for 7 the turn after that, and just leave Thassa's Oracle in hand as a backup in case. But from this board state, I can consign with Replicate, Daze, and Force. And that's after checking their hand with Surgical. And my read was right. They just had 2 Psychic Frogs before they had 1 Doomsday. There's 1 Swords of Plowshares in my sideboard that I wish was in the main. Maybe my plan was wrong, even if my read was right. The 4 Plows probably just have to be in against any deck with Psychic Frog, even if it is a combo adjacent deck, or combo primarily deck. Okay, let's look at this deck. There are 3 frogs in the deck, unless there's 1 in their hand or pile. They draw through 2 of their cards here, so there's 3 left in the deck. Underground Sea. They could Thoughtseize me here. They did. I'm going to Daze that. They forced my Daze. This is tricky, because now, if I force their Force, Consign is just stuck in my hand where Thoughtseize can resolve. I'm going to get a look at their hand before I commit to anything else here. I guess I could have let the Force on Daze resolve, then Thoughtseize Force. Oh, that was better. Shit. But if their hand doesn't Oracle this turn, that's good information. Wow. Daze, Frog. There was a Frog in their hand. 2 Thassa's Oracles. 1 in their hand, 1 in their library. That's too many Thassa's Oracles for me. How do I solve this? In taking 2 Doomsdays out of their hand, they should have discarded those 2 Doomsdays in hand to Psychic Frog before they got stripped for nothing. Because Frog is not optional. If they want to attack me again, they will be out of cards next turn. I think I'm going to Brainstorm now and hide the Consign. I think that's a better way to do this. I'm going to hide Brainstorm and Consign. And their Thoughtseize can resolve. They'll take Force of Will. Their Tamiyo could pick up Force of Will. Yeah, I definitely should have let the Force resolve and Surgical. That was a mistake. Okay, they just said in chat it was a misclick and they meant to discard a Frog. Yeah, having 2 extra power on the board might matter here. But they can't hit me with Frog enough times to kill me before they run out of cards in their deck. So that doesn't matter. I mean, it is technically and obviously correct to do it that way. But also, doesn't really matter. Oh, I stacked it wrong. They picked up the Thoughtseize. They wasteland the Sewer. Yeah, if I put Brainstorm on top, it would have solved this problem. Yeah, they're making it work. They can't attack with Frog. They can attack with one Frog. And then I have to Brainstorm into another thing. Okay, so their hand right now is Thoughtseize Daze Psychic Frog. I'll have to consign that. There is another Oracle in the deck, and they can manipulate the deck to a spot where they have exactly 0 cards in hand. Attacking with Frog, a little bit of a liability here. Okay. They don't know the order, though, because my Surgical shuffled. Okay, they discarded this Frog to push damage. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can actually kill me exactly if they want to go combat damage. All right, Brainstorm. I need you to work. Swords to Plowshares. Surgical Extraction. These don't matter. And if they go in and try to kill me with damage, the Plow actually wins the game. But why would they do that? Okay. They definitely win now because their hand... All right, yeah. All right. That got really interesting at the end. Now I know they're Doomsday. No, for sure, for sure. And I know that you can't cut even one Swords to Plowshares versus the current build of Doomsday. I think I'm cutting another Dreadnought. Just being alive is more important. Harbinger is interesting. Hull Breacher. Yeah, this might be a full juke situation. If I go 0 Dreadnoughts, 0 Null Drifters, and treat the enablers in the deck just as answers to Thassa's Oracle, that could be a plan. Yeah, I don't want Surgicals. Those aren't very good against Doomsday. And we found a way to make it interesting that game, but it's not actually that good. Maybe the Wrath of the Skies is too much, and this gives me 5 spot removal spells, and then some surprise juke threats. All of my counter magic's in. Do I want Harbinger? That turns off Cavern. It makes their black really hard to access. I don't think Harbinger's bad, but I don't think there's a card I'd rather cut for it. Yeah, I'm just going in like this. This hand looks pretty good versus a combo deck. Ponder. Looking for a blue source to get counterbalance going here. We did it. I will not know what's on top of the deck if I play counterbalance next turn because I have to shuffle to play it. I could let them Thoughtseize me here. They probably have to take counterbalance. Or I could daze it and play Tamiyo. I'll do that. Because they have to force this because Swamp is not... They can't daze me back. Cool. My top card is Ponder right now. I'm going to stick this Tamiyo and pass. Basic lands. Glad I didn't try to Harbinge them. And I'm glad they didn't shove a Psychic Frog. I would have to force a Will It. Lotus Petal. Oh no. They might still play Psychic Frog this turn. Dark Ritual. Things are happening. Barogoyf. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that shit at all. Force it. Okay. The force worked. It's a miracle. One of the issues with playing against Doomsday on Magic Online is that their deck is not sorted when it goes into exile. It's just exiled kind of willy-nilly whatever. Which, if you're not looking for a specific card, makes it hard to process everything that's there. Like, I can do a Force of Will count or whatever. That's fine. That's easy. But if I'm not looking for Barogoyf, I'm unlikely to notice it's there. Maybe that's a me problem, but certainly it is my experience. The counterbalance has resolved. We are Tamiyo v Tamiyo gaming. I can flip my Tamiyo next turn. Okay, we're both just leaving cards up here. I'm going to attack with Tamiyo. And I'm going to use my clue first so Ponder can set up the counterbalance. Stifle, Force of Negation. Would I rather have a 1 or a 3 on top? I think a 3. This Doomsday and Barogoyf both cost 3. Frog is 2, but there wasn't a 2 to choose from. Right, surveilled away a Polluted Delta and then cracked a clue in the end step. Tamiyo will attack for -1. That should gain me a life. I need a Flavor Judge ruling. Shrink it. Please cast Doomsday. Please cast Doomsday. Please cast Doomsday. Shit. Oh, I'm not ready for that one. Psychic Frog. And I know I'm drawing cards that are not helpful versus Psychic Frog. A top card of the deck is Stifle. I can draw that with a clue. I could also minus Tamiyo, pick up Ponder, dig for one of my removal spells. That actually seems pretty necessary here. Come on, Swords to Plowshares. A bunch of shit. Shuffle that. That's a lot of wastelands, and now Tamio's gonna die. Bad news, everybody. I have one more chance. Crack a clue. Wow. No! That was so close. Okay. I think it was necessary to do that. It just worked out kind of poorly. But I did find an answer to Psychic Frog next turn. But Tamio could flip this turn. I could stifle the flip. I discarded a Dark Ritual to Psychic Frog. Just in case. Just put that extra damage on Tamio. Didn't need to do that. She had not plussed. Okay, Frog draws a card. I'm not going to stifle that. Okay. They are going in on flipping Tamio. I could stifle this. I don't think I want them to have a Planeswalker. I'm going to try for stifle right here. They're dazing. Counterbalance. Don't fail me now. Blooded Strand on top. All right, counterbalance failed. All right, I'm not going to fight over this any further. Replaying the sewer that they picked up with Daze. Busted interaction. Just going off over there. Drawing Flooded Strand is actually good, though, because now I can protect my Prismatic Ending with a counterspell. They're drawing a card in response. Force of Will. Counterbalance. Reveal Force of Will. Revealed Hull Breacher. Sucks that that's no longer a secret. I could just cast Daze here. I could Meticulous Archive Daze. I should have thought about that before I fetched. I could have just picked up this Tundra. I'm spiraling out. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We will survive. Yeah, if I just left Hull Breacher on top, picked up the Tundra to Daze. Oh god, that sucks. Okay. I'm not going to fully spiral out and not Daze here. And leaving up the Force is still right, but I really wish Hull Breacher was on top of my deck. Both because it's good and because it costs 3. All right. That was not the best play I've ever made. Now they have active Tamio and I have counterbalance. I am not going to reveal for this because this is test. I don't want them to know what's on top of my deck. Even if I do get to counter Lotus Petal for free, I think it's better to let them commit a real spell and then they're in some trouble if it gets countered. I ponder I will reveal for. Sick. Revealed Tamio. They got 2 cards in their hand. They got 1 card in their hand. Okay, I'm going to Tamio you right back here. I'm going to replay the Tundra they know about. Play Tamio. And is it better to leave up Wasteland? I don't think them having 6 mana instead of 5 is going to change the game. Fetch an Underground Sea. But me having an extra mana to pay for a Daze out of them or crack clues with higher velocity might matter. Yeah, their Tamio's going back up. We're settling into a game again. It was falling apart for a minute. Now it's coming back. Attack my opponent. Roll's really nice too. That shuts off any number of Thassa's Oracles. Plussing Tamio. Bloodstained Mire. I'm going to draw a card and then play my Thrall. And having it in play, I guess, is nice. And it is washing out versus the Tamio. And I don't have any payoffs in my deck. And maybe committing it was a push too hard. Because I'm not applying pressure to Tamio. I have 0 answers to this. Goes to 7 next turn. It's -7. They get to draw half their deck next turn. Shit. I might have messed up here. If I had held back my clue, I could have sacked 2 clues this turn, flipped Tamio, and then pick up Prismatic Ending just in time to deal with this Tamio. Oh, Stifle is really good, though. Okay, I still have outs. I still have big outs. Yeah, stifling that activation would be fucked. Ponder. Find me a Stifle. Force of Will, Doorkeeper, Thrall. These are not cards I want. Shuffle. Another Thrall. Attack my opponent. They could draw half their deck next turn if I don't do something about it. This will flip Tamio, but more importantly, will it find Stifle? Absolutely not. Okay, weird game getting started here. Rainstorm, reveal for counterbalance. I have a Force of Will on top, countering 5s. Brainstorm happens. Would you cast Brainstorm if your plan is to draw half your deck? Are they going to try to make this work? Get another turn out of Tamio and keep it? Because that is just a face-up mistake if that's what they're trying to do. Arrowgoyf. I'm going to let this resolve because I can plow it. Oh, they plus Tamio. They plussed her. They're saying there's a chance. And they can't force this plow because I have a force on top. That's gone. Oh my goodness. I think that was a big mistake. Rebuy my Prismatic Ending. Wasteland all your untapped mana. Wasteland, Wasteland. There's no good attacks here. They didn't float the mana. I could have done that all in the previous phase. Exile this 1-drop. Oh my god. I did not think we'd get this far. That was a mistake. I am fair calling it that was a face-up. Generally, I try to figure out what that means, but I think they just forgot I could do that. Now I have to nickel and dime them to death with these Doorkeeper Thralls. And they know I'm holding Force of Will because I saw it off counterbalance and I drew it. 2 Barrogoyfs gone. I don't know how many they have. They're all in the end step. I can counter something like Bowmaster. I don't know how many creatures they're going to have. We already know they have Frog, Tameo, and Barrogoyf. I'm not going to play around Bowmaster. And Bowmaster doesn't actually attack and deal damage to Tameo. It can ping her once on the way in. Or no, it can't even do that. I don't give a shit about Bowmaster. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. They're on a 9-turn clock. Tameo will go off way before that. My hand is all counter spells. They can't win with Doomsday right now because of the Thralls. You got to answer those before any of that stuff's going to work. We know there's frogs in their deck. We haven't seen any, or I dealt with one this game. We've seen one frog, 2 Barrogoyf. Okay, they're just playing draw go with me though. There's a big invisible part of this game happening right now, which is the fact that they cannot win with Doomsday and Thassa's Oracle. There's a lot of cards in their deck that are just blank cardboard right now. And now my Tameo is ready to pop if I want to pop it right away. Frog. Okay. I have a Meticulous Archive in my deck. I can blind flip counterbalance, and if I miss, use Flooded Strand to change what I'm doing. Or I could use Meticulous Archive now to get 2 looks at countering the frog. And I'm going to do that. I do have quite a lot of 2s in the deck. Swords of Plowshares. It's not a 2, but I'll take it. Okay, I'm not going to counterbalance the frog. Frog resolves. There's a 1 on top of my deck right now. Do I just want to activate Tameo now? Because I don't have Dreadnoughts in the deck anymore. But I don't think they could beat me if I just have half my deck in my hand. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to draw half my deck. I'm not going to make the same mistake and try to get greedy. I don't think they're going to have a Stifle. Yeah, okay. Just decks in my hand now. Hull Breacher, Dress Down. I believe there is a basic Plains still in the deck. Okay, I'm going to fetch for that basic Plains that I hope is still in the deck. Cool. I do have to be careful about drawing cards because I might run out of cards before I can win the game. They're Force of Willing me. Counterbalance. Revealed Misty Rainforest. What are my choices here? I could probably just force it, right? Force of Negation. Hardcast. Frog's gone. Beat's coming. I'm not going to play out a Tameo because it doesn't matter and everything else has flash. I'm just going to pass. Now I just have to make sure that I can deal 11 damage before the 12 cards in my deck run out, which shouldn't be a problem. Misty Rainforest is still on top of my deck, so don't reveal. Never mind this fucking Hull Breacher in my hand. My hand is so big, I just forgot this was over here. Lull them into a false sense of security. Yeah, I think Hull Breacher backed by multiple forces is a game ender here. I'm going to play another Thrall. I did not expect this match to take every single minute of the clock, but this has been a slog. I don't think wastelanding them matters. They have enough mana to cast spells. I just want to make sure I have enough mana to not get dazed or double triple spell if I need to. Cavern on Frog? Are we going to see it? Cavern on Dragon? Hell yeah. I hope they actually have a dragon and they're not just goofing. I was going to make a Gilded Drake joke, but it's both a Drake, not a dragon, and it wouldn't work because I have Doorkeeper Thrall. Oh wow, they do have a dragon. Good job, you. Okay, well, I will not use Counterbalance's ability. There are 1, 2... my deck still has all the plows in it. I could address that down. Yeah, whoops. Alright. I feel like we're in garbage time, but we're also not really in garbage time because they could still win the game conceivably. Alright, I'm gonna use Brainstorm to flip Tameo. This does use up some of the precious cards in my deck. I think that's okay. Do I want a 1 or a 2 on top? I think a 2. Fatal Push. Okay, and I just put a 2 on top. If I Brainstorm, there will be 8 cards left in my deck. I don't actually care about this, though. No, that's fine. That's not the important thing that's happening. If I Plow, they go to 16. I can deal 16 damage in 9 cards. I just have to remember to actually cast my Hull Breacher. Attack with all my creatures, waste the Cavern of Souls. No more surprise Murktides, please. Okay, they're down to 1 card in hand. I'm just going to shove the Hull Breacher and back it with Force. I could have been a lot more aggressive once the Tamiyo popped, but I also don't have to be. It mostly just doesn't matter at all when you have a 24 card hand. I guess I only have 15 cards. Yeah, they just passed. Going in again. 7 cards in my deck. Put you to 1. Would be dead right now if I addressed down the Murktide. It's all good. All good. We got the GGs. They finally tapped out. That was quite a slog. And the boarding out all the monsters and just becoming a dedicated don't get comboed out control deck that also has to respect a bunch of creatures. That's interesting, but that's available to you. You can use it. Don't forget everything that your deck can do. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3 against Maxtortion, MTGO content creator and contributor to the MinMax blog, friend of the show. And I'm 3 for 3 on having an opening 7 that has Wasteland but no colored mana in it. I will mulligan. This one has everything I could want. I'm going to keep this, and I could bottom Force of Will. Like Max recently did well with Stoneblade, where Force of Will is not a card I'd want. He also has Doomsday in his repertoire, where Swords to Plowshares is not something I'd want. Doomsday plays Frog, as we just learned. I'm on the draw where Daze is worse. I'm going to bottom Daze. A Shuko. Okay. Okay. So clearly some breakfast stuff going on there. Maybe Nadu. This is a snow-covered plains, allegedly. I had to zoom in to be sure. I think I'm going to... This is tricky. This meticulous archive really jacking me up. I'm going to play Archive and hope I'm not dead. I'll keep Ponder on top. The card's really good. If he goes Island Illusionist Daze, the game is over. I could have played around Daze by just playing Island, but I couldn't play around Force no matter what. Savannah, okay. We're not dying this turn. That's good news. I am going to Wasteland this shit. Seems like he's playing around Stifle by doing that and walked into Wasteland. Oh, okay. Someone doesn't have another land. I like that for me. Dreadnought. I could sculpt with Ponder, or I could play Thrall this turn. I'm going to sculpt with Ponder. I like the land. I don't like all this. This is too much. I'm actually going to shuffle. That was just too much of the payoff stuff based on the back of one Doorkeeper Thrall. And my Thrall is either going to work or it's not. Like if my opponent has Swords to Plowshares, all of those cards would have become bad. Holy smokes. I'm just going to pass. I'll go for the Thrall this turn. I can play 2 Dreadnoughts next turn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are we dead? Stoneforge Mystic. I can Swords to Plowshares that. I guess I could have Thralled in response. And that's like what I wanted to do this turn anyway. That's pretty embarrassing. Pre-war Formalware. Okay. This is embarrassing, but I'm still going to do it. Okay, you've got a Force pitching Narcomoeba. I've got a Force pitching Dress Down. I think I'd rather have Ponder left over at the end of all this. It tapped out of Swords to Plowshares, so this turn, whatever happens, happens. I can just try to present lethal. Dreadnought, Dreadnought, pass with Plow up. This is some sort of Stoneblade hybrid. If he's got a Cauldra, he could start to stabilize here, but the Plow beats the Cauldra. If he has Cauldra, force the action, untap, No, but he's just dead because Cauldra, you go to 22 and then you take 25 in combat. Okay, Cauldra doesn't win this game. Illusionist plus Counterspell wins this game. They're plowing a Dreadnought. That's good news for me. Shuko, the mighty Shuko. Got yourself a 2-2. Don't you feel tough? Ponder. Double plow is really nice. I don't care about Force of Will anymore. Attack with my jerks. There's a Tamiyo on top, and I can plow twice. If opponent can clear Dreadnought, that's a bummer, but I'm not worried about much else here. Teferi is the worst thing that could happen to me here. Like, Teferi turns off plow as protection and also clears Dreadnought, and I have no plan to answer it. Okay, cool. Just got over the hump. Okay, a Stoneblade Breakfast hybrid. And we saw green mana. Is this Nadu Blade with Breakfast in it? It just said in the chat the Savannah was a misclick. That makes a lot of sense. That explains what happened that game quite a bit. Okay, I mean, we're against another Thassa's Oracle matchup where I have to be control first and beat down second. I want to leave some Dreadnoughts in. I did feel like I couldn't quite finish off that Doomsday opponent at a speed I wanted to. Is Harbinger the Sea's a nightmare for my opponent? We saw at least basic planes. There are basics in the deck. That doesn't mean I'm going to have them all the time. At least one Surgical. Nullrod has text. Containment Priest has text. There's a lot of cards that are kind of useful here, and a lot of cards that are kind of bad. Like I said, I want some Dreadnoughts still in. Stifle, Consign, Doorkeeper, Thrall, Dress Down. Again, all great. Another Thassa's Oracle matchup. Is Wrath of the Sky something I want access to? That can sweep up a lot of Nadu nonsense. I could just be off days. The more days I cut, the worse Teferi gets for me, though. I can go Surgical Wrath. I'll try this on the draw. Does Hull Breacher make any sense? I mean, Hull Breacher is like John Cena from the top rope, but not necessary. But if it does snipe anything, the game will end on the spot. I'll try them. I'm not sure it's right to have them in. I like this opening hand. Interactive in a lot of ways that are good for the matchup. Opponent's on 6. Misty Reinforce, pass. I'm going to play this Plains and pass. I could play Island to bluff that I don't have plow, but what if I actually need plow? Aggressively fetching non-basics. Stoneforge Mystic resolves. What are we tutoring? Tutoring Shuko. Alright. Even if opponent dazes this plow, I'll waste the other land and then there's no mana. White or green? What do I think I'm more worried about here? There's probably fewer green sources in the deck would be my guess. And green casts Mana Dorks. They're both blue, which is the color I care about the most. Ponder, okay. Let's see a shuffle and a missed land drop. We saw the shuffle, hit the land drop though. Alright, fine. Keep your secrets. We're going to see Shuko this turn. Consigned to memory, right on time. Could have countered that Shuko last turn. And if he goes land Nadu here, we could be in some trouble. This is interesting. I could just dress down, or I could rely on Consign. Okay. He's going for it. I wish I had one more mana, but you know, if I didn't waste last turn, I would have Priest plus Consign active here. It really... I can beat one counterspell. I can beat Cabal Therapy with no counterspells. I can't beat a good Cabal Therapy plus counterspell. I can't beat 2 counterspells. We'll see what's going on over there. There goes the Oracle. There's Narcomoeba number 2. That's creature number 3. We've reached critical mass. Nadu milled. Dread Return. I don't see a Therapy yet. One card left in the deck. Is it Therapy? Milled the last card. It was not Therapy. Okay, so there is no Cabal Therapy in the list. Unless I just don't see it with my eyes, which happens sometimes, but I do mostly think what's going on here. Okay. Do you have 2 counterspells? Cast with Replicate. I could probably deduce whether there's 2 counterspells in the hand or not, but I have no idea. Okay, we got the I was afraid of that. GG. He's got a Force, has 1 counterspell, but not 2. Okay, sweet. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables.
I'm on the draw in round 4, and I have a hand with colorful mana in it. I'm going to keep this so fast. Opponent said, "Hello YouTube, everyone say hi to Zapoo." I hope that's French for the poo. Savannah, another Savannah gamer. Delighted Halfling. Well, the card Nadu is bad for me. The card Thassa's Oracle is great for me. What do I think is going to happen this turn? Probably nothing good. I'm going to cast Ponder. Dreadnought. I feel like I need removal more than I need anything else. And I'll take another Ponder and the Tameo just for the card selection. I'm going to shuffle away that Dreadnought, though. If opponent shoves the turn 2 Nadu, we're in trouble. I'm even more worried about Teferi. Nightmare Fuel. On the play, we could have at least dazed the Halfling, but now we're just behind in the garbage. Probably never winning this game. Plus Teferi. I'm going to Ponder and then play Tameo. Wasteland, Dreadnought, Force of Will. 3 completely useless cards. Shuffle. The second Tameo, not exactly the picture of usefulness either, but it does play. It will be bounced immediately, but it plays. We've spent the last 2 rounds kind of laughing our way to the bank on the back of being a Dreadnought deck versus Thassa's Oracle, but being a Dreadnought deck versus Teferi is the flip of that. Basically, everything that our deck does involves some sort of trick of responding to a trigger with some effect, or end step Thrall, untap, do something, end step Dress Down, untap, do something. We just can't do any of that with Teferi in play, and there is no good answer to a Teferi in the main. Yep, that is the end of that. One thing I could have done that I didn't explore on turn 1 was leave up Stifle and just try to stop them from getting 3 mana by time that way. But then if they just play a land from hand, I've wasted my turn. I'm going to try to concede this game without giving up what deck I'm playing. Like right now, I could just be some sort of control blue-white or Jeskai deck with some Tameos. They haven't seen Daze, they haven't seen Dreadnought or Stifle. Here's Meticulous Archive. Drifter. I mean, that's a big tell. I'm going to put that on top and replay the Tameo. I do want to see more of their deck. See if I can learn something about what they've got going on over there. I have to imagine it's a Nadu deck, but do you have Chord of Calling? Do you not have Chord of Calling? What are all the pieces we're dealing with here? A super uncounterable Nadu. 2 Delighted Halflings were tapped to cast this with Teferi in play. Definitely not getting out of that one. I apologize for wasting everyone's time, but I do want to see them flip some cards and learn some more about what their list entails. Like, is this a Thassa's Oracle deck? Agatha Soul Cauldron. See? I would not have thought to ask about that one. And I don't really care about it, but it is good information. Zenith Plow. The Zenith could get Spring Heart and Antuco right now, but they're not going for it, which makes me think they don't have that card. Some builds have it, some don't. Plowing my Tameo, you got me. Can't respond. Also playing this out kind of hints that maybe I have Wrath of the Skies or Supreme Verdict in my deck. The fact that I haven't just snap conceded yet continues to sell the narrative that I might be a blue-white control deck. Agatha Soul Cauldron. Okay. Went with that over additional Nomads. This seems like... Yeah, there's an Uro. Okay. Fetch for Dryad Arbor. Clean up, discarded a Nadu. I drew Null Drifter. I'm just going to move to my end step and see if they flip another million cards. Just want to see some cards, then I'll concede. Ice Fang Coatl. Okay. We've learned some more. Okay. They're just not activating anymore, that's fine. I learned what I need to learn. Wrath of the Skies, Prismatic Ending, all coming in. Containment Priest, there is Zenith build. Harbinger of the Seas looks pretty good here. Hullbreacher doesn't matter. Lavinia Counterbalance, these things don't matter. These are the good cards. And once again, I'm looking at Big Nolly. I promise there are matchups where these are things you want. We just haven't played against any of them yet. I am on the play where Daze is better, but they are a Mana Dork deck where Daze is worse. I'll try this. Just a bunch of white interaction and a lock piece. Okay, I am going to keep my hand. It's missing white mana, but I do like having turn 1 Tameo. They seemed pretty soft to Wasteland last game. I can also ponder for a white source, or I could just Daze. If they play Halfling, I think I'll Daze it. Ooh, interesting. Would I Daze with Swords to Plowshares here? Probably. I do love me a Tameo in play. They're lucky that's a Plains. Alright, big plans. Ponder. There's the white mana I'm looking for. And there's a Dress Down under there too. Pass the turn. Savannah. That's wastable, but unfortunately I led on Island instead of Tundra, so I can't waste plus plow a mana dork here. Bromads. Okay, so they're playing around Daze with this sequencing. Halfling, terrifying. I definitely can't afford to Wasteland here. Plains, attack with Tameo. And I don't have a counterspell, so fighting over Halfling doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm probably going to plow Nomad in response to Nadu. They just went straight into combat. Powerful stuff. I could have flashed in Doorkeeper Thrall and block there. I feel like having Swords of Plowshares up is so nice, though. End step. They didn't do anything. I am going to... I could deploy my Thrall or my Priest here. I think Priest. Or Thrall. I meant Thrall. I said Priest. That was not a misclick. It was a misspeak. Now they know what I'm playing, which they may not have known before. Wasteland. Attack with Tameo. Leave this Doorkeeper Thrall back on defense. Defense Thrall. I'm wasting Savannah. They're fetching in response. I'm not going to flash in the Priest, because then they could just get a different land if the land even was Dryad Arbor here, but they probably need a green source. Yeah. They milled over Dryad Arbor. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Brainstorm, and me without a Hull Breacher. No hulls to breach. Cracking their Windswept Teeth. 3 mana is the danger zone. Teferi represented here. Nadu represented here. Birds of Paradise. I'm not as worried about that one. Okay, do I want to add Priest? Do I want to plow Nomad? Or do I want to draw a card with Clue Token? I think my life gets easier without this Nomad in play. I'm just going to get rid of that. Or at least challenge it. Nice. Good draw. I'm winning the damage race here. Doorkeeper Thrall's getting in. Still pretty awkward that I only have 1 white source, but this is the deck that I registered. 4 mana. Oh, this is a Zenith. Priest, let's go. Please save the day. Swords of Plowshares could break this up. Force blue card from hand could break this up. Please just resolve. They pass priority. It looks like we're gonna get a Priest squeeze here. Ooh, we don't want those. Noble Hierarch exiled. You can decline, or you can just exile a card that you don't want to draw when your opponent Priests in response to a Zenith. And they chose to exile a card they don't want to draw, which is almost certainly better. And now we got big beats coming. I'm just going to pass because Dress Down plus Plow answers a Nadu cleanly. Meticulous Archive. We're fairly confident the 2 cards in their hand are not a counterspell, a removal spell, or Nadu. Kept a card on top, though. Scary. Brainstorm. That is something you could keep on top. I wouldn't argue with you. Nadu. Okay. I'm gonna let Nadu resolve. I don't think I need to respond with Dress Down. I can also just send the Plow and let them flip the card, but I kind of don't want to do that. I'm going to Dress Down. This will turn off my creatures for my turn. Plow the Nadu with no flip. They have a response. JK, they're just fetching. Okay, it'd be a great turn to draw Phyrexian Dreadnought. Prismatic Ending. That answers to Fairies and Nadus in the future. I could have timed this Dress Down better. I actively want this Tameo to flip this turn, and it's just not gonna. My bad. Okay. I could flip it now, but It doesn't do anything to flip it now. It's a Planeswalker for next turn, and I'm tapped out. Halfling number 2. 1 card left in hand. They've shuffled the Brainstorm, but they are drawing random otherwise. They draw a card. Fetch for Tundra. Draw a card. Drawing a card off a clue is better than surveilling, because I just get it. And we're starting to just blue-white control them. A mode of the deck I'm quite happy with. Ooh. Halflings blocking. Okay, that's allowed. That will clear the halflings, which means this Force of Will in my hand is on. And losing the priest, of course, isn't free, but I don't mind what just happened. Tameo flipped to Planeswalker mode, and I have Force blue card. They're out of uncounterability monsters. Brainstorm. Go for it. Cool. Ground them out. Now they know what I'm up to. They don't know the extent of it. They haven't seen a Wrath of the Skies yet, but they do know I'm or at least suspect I'm a Dreadnought deck. I wouldn't bring in Doorkeeper Thrall just as a sideboard card for their deck. I still haven't shown them a Dreadnought because I'm barely playing them, but they're not going to fall for anything here. Maybe the Hull Breachers actually are good. They did a lot of brainstorming and pondering that game. I could go even fewer dazes now that I'm on the draw. It's even worse. Maybe I don't need Harbinger. They did fetch an early basic. The dorks matter. But my plan is to engage with dorks aggressively. Do I think Daze, Lavinia, a Null Drift or a Dreadnought, or a Counterbalance are better than Harbinger of the Seas? Lavinia might be. Just knowing my spells are going to resolve is pretty cool. They also can't Zenith for more than their land count. Like, they can't use dorks to ramp into Zenith with this card in play. All right, yeah, I'll try that. Moving stuff around. Trying stuff. Always trying stuff. 1 land, but it does have 2 copies of my best card in Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to keep this. We haven't seen a Wasteland out of them yet. I'm going to fetch Tundra pretty confidently. It didn't have a 1-drop. That's great. That lets me stick Tameo here. I didn't draw a land. Slightly concerning. But I do get to at least put an engine into play. The Maze. Into Force. Okay. They either already have one or that's not what they're looking for. Hey deck, if you ever loved me, it would be time to give me a land, preferably a white source. Though I would also accept Wasteland. Plowing my Tameo. My poor angel. Zenith for 0. Okay. Yeah, deck, that white source would be great. Any land, though. Any land at all. Shit. Well, I'm going to brainstorm and hope it hits a land. Wow. Okay. The full punish. That sucks. Well, we might have lost the game there. I think you're supposed to take that play there because my hand doesn't answer land Nadu or land Teferi anyway. Even if I plow the Arbor, I don't think playing Tameo just into 4 open mana in the deck that can win when it has 4 mana makes sense. And the play there is either leave up Plow, pass, or Brainstorm. But if you Brainstorm and hit a land, you still get to leave up Plow, pass, and you've developed your game plan, where obviously getting Brainstorm locked is just the fail case of that. But I think we're on reasonable expectation to hit lands there. All right, they're doing halfling stuff. Dryad Arbor can tap for green or colorless or any color of mana that can be used to cast uncounterable legends. I am now just going to plow this thing. It's grown too big, too powerful. Maybe if they spend too long respecting Force of Will, I'll be able to win. 3 cards in hand over there. Bad news, everybody. Here's this thing. And because this resolved, they don't have to respect Force or Daze because they have Soul Cauldron. If they just play a Nomad here, even if it's countered, they can give Nadu the abilities. Yep. I just don't have anything. Flip Teferi. They can flip 4 cards here. Teferi Path, place cast Path to Exile, I'm begging you. Zenith and Zenith. None of those things counter Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to draw for turn. All right, in response to this target, I'm going to target Nomad. This is the window where they'll see 1 less card. Island, Misty Rainforest, Windswept Heath. They have missed so far. If they find another Nomad, it's not going to matter. This is the 2nd card in the Brainstorm lock. I don't feel good here. The fun thing about Brainstorm is it basically, on its surface of the printed card, you get access to all the cards you would have over the next 3 turns. But then you have to draw through the bad cards. But then you get the fun subgame of breaking the drawback where you get all the good cards and then shuffle away the bad cards. But then sometimes Brainstorm just tells you all your turns were going to be bad, you idiot. And that's what we had this game. All right, cool. I'm not getting through this again, especially now it's a very down. GG's. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're having fun, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can order it all in one package from cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. On the draw for the final round, and I'm going to keep this hand with spells I can cast. This is a turn 2 Dreadnought. It's a turn 1 Tamiyo or Stifle, turn 2 Dreadnought. Uh-oh. We might not have time to do any of this. What flavor of Chrome Mox are you? The red kind? Yep. All right, well. Oh, please play Blood Moon. Sick. I'm ready for that one. Okay. I am going to cast Tamiyo, and then next turn I'm going to play a 12-12 and hope that it's good enough to win. Wow, they pitch cast a Fury. This is great. Fury pitched Fable, so they either have a better 3-drop or they don't have a 3rd mana. That's gone. Do you have a 3rd mana? Vexing Bauble, that does not affect my game plan. Okay, they have 1 card in hand, 2 mana, no lands, and have to beat a 12-12. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Stifle. Maybe I was supposed to consign there. Stifle could have other text in the matchup, like countering a Broadside Bombardier's trigger or something, where Consign is unlikely to be useful. Or Consign can counter the One Ring, though, which is a card they play. They found mana number 3. Chalice on 1! They actually play it! Too late, though. Big game. It's weird that they have Chalice and Vexing Bauble in their deck. Those things generally don't interact well with each other. Oh, do I get to consign a One Ring here? Oh my god! Oh my god! Cast with Replicate. That gets through the Chalice. That was a firm kicking, showcasing all of the aspects of the deck that we haven't got to showcase otherwise in the league. Ho ho ho! Alright, give me more of that. The Dreadnoughts will not be boarded out this game. We finally found a matchup where they are appropriate things to be doing. Null Rod is good against the Ring and Chrome Mox. I think that's enough to bring it in. Hydroblast, obviously, Force, very good. And then Wrath can clean up Chalices and Baubles. Daze, I'm probably low on here. Stifle gets my Dreadnought in the game. Dress Down, I think, probably is one of the weaker cards here. It does pitch to Force. Doorkeeper Thrall has stats, and I don't need to line it up quite so perfectly. Yeah, I mean, cutting 6 blue cards while I'm boarding in an extra Force is a little worrisome, but I play a lot of blue cards. I'm just going to do it like this. I could see the Hull Breacher lining up well against the One Ring, but it lines up so bad against the rest of their deck that I'm not interested. This one's a little wonky, but I think I am going to keep it. It's got Force of Will. It does have some built-in selection. Chalice on 1. This is something I would like to not deal with. Archive, show me a basic island. Press down to the graveyard. Pass the turn. Alright, a little worrisome. Let's see what their follow-up is here. Shatter Skull. Fable. Okay. Tamiyo. Alright, Brainstorm, don't fail me again. I hate you, Brainstorm. How could you do this? Okay. Well, at least there's another Brainstorm to dig through this awful Brainstorm this time. And I am looking at Doorkeeper Thralls and a Dreadnought, which means I have a puncher's chance. Hopefully they just boarded their Blood Moons out. That would be ideal. The One Ring has resolved. It's happening. It's happening. I think I have to high roll here. Brainstorm only looks at 2 new cards, not 3. But I don't think I can afford to Tamiyo pass. The Wasteland is at least something that comes into play here. I can sculpt a Dress Down into Dreadnought line, or Thrall into Dreadnought's probably better. So it does take... I take a lot of damage, and they get a lot of cards off Ring before that happens. But they are at 10 already. They started on an Ancient Tomb. Ring is doing work. Activated the Ring. Chrome Mox. Vexing Bauble. Another Ring. Okay. Resetting that one. Fresh round of protection. That means if they tap Ancient Tomb this turn, they don't take damage. It's a fun little interaction there. I am going to pass with Doorkeeper, Thrall, or Dress Down available to me, and hope that something comes together here. They are going to 9. If this Dreadnought connects once I'm in, it's over. But I have to imagine they have answers to it at this point. They are drawing more cards. Brings up to 2 burden counters again. I'm at 11. Karn the Great Creator. Well, that happens. I don't think I'm beating a Karn. I don't think I was beating anything, but I'm definitely not beating a Karn. Getting Liquid Metal Coating. They did pay down to 7 here. I think I'm gonna Dress Down rather than Doorkeeper Thrall, because I do need to see some more cards here. Come on, land. Well, I can Brainstorm, because this isn't doing anything else this turn. Yikes. That Pyroblast is almost good. Karn doing everything. I was really hoping to see a second Dreadnought there. A Wasteland, Dreadnought. They could Pyroblast my Dress Down in response and get a blowout. They didn't have that. Small victories, I suppose. I can Wasteland just one of these random lands. Phyrexian Dreadnought has to win this game, or the One Ring has to bleed them out. Those are the only ways I can possibly win from here. They can start destroying my lands this turn. They're at 5. Fingers crossed. Brings up to 3, which means if they tap Ancient Tomb again, they die on their next turn. Karn has to be able to get something like Ensnaring Bridge if they need that. But they went for the land destruction, so clearly they don't. Well, I tapped Ancient Tomb. Was that a punt, or do they have a solution to their own ring here? Do they have a way to deal another 4 damage to me? Did they just hurl it in the trash? What just happened? Can they burn me out in their next upkeep? What's going on? What's going on, opponent? You gotta tell me. Red not typically known for its ability to gain life. It is pretty good at destroying artifacts, though. But this one's indestructible. Long pause in the second main. Are they realizing their error and questioning their choices, or just deciding how they're going to beat me? Drawing a card with Vexing Bauble. This feels like an emergency. Chrome Mox. Exile to Fury. They need 2 more mana to play the One Ring. I think they still have a land drop this turn, so like 7 cards in hand, they could definitely play another One Ring. Whoa, they just don't even have it. Scooped it up. Okay, a 4-1 record. The trophy blocked by a lousy Brainstorm. Getting Brainstorm locked. But that Puncher's Chance of Phyrexian Dreadnought really came up in the last round, and we got to showcase the modality of the deck, the options the deck gives you by not needing big punchies in 3 of our 5 matchups, and just leading in on being basically a weird blue-white control deck that wins with nickels and dimes on 1 and 2 power creatures, but it gets the job done if it has to. You don't have to keep sending Phyrexian Dreadnought Stifle into decks where that's not going to be a useful win condition, and I like when we get to do everything that a deck can do. We never evoked a Null Drifter. We didn't do that, but we did Stifle in Dreadnoughts and have Stifle be a valuable card, consigned to memory, had a few clutch situations here. Being a white deck with Swords to Plowshares was important for basically the whole league. We got a Tamiyo win, just up to 8 she went, draw half your deck, now nothing matters anymore. Pretty good showcase, and if we are preparing for the world in the post-Frog universe, which is why Bobby is sticking with trusty old blue-white over going blue-black, this looks like a contender for that world. Bobby, thanks you for sharing the deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. Order some cards from cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll. Check out Gold Sabertooth's Kickstarter. And I'll see you next time.